Britain's oldest merchant bank survived Napoleon. It survived 2 world wars. It funded the Louisiana Purchase and banked for the Queen herself. And in 1995, it was destroyed in 3 years by one 28-year-old trader working out of a back office in Singapore. His name was Leeson, and by the time anyone caught what he was doing, it was already too late. Barings Bank was founded in 1762 by Francis Baring, a merchant's son who built one of the first true merchant banks in London. Over the next 2 centuries, Barings financed governments, funded wars, and became so trusted that in 1818, the Duke of Richelieu supposedly called it one of the 6 great powers of Europe, alongside England, France, Russia, Austria, and Prussia. This wasn't a scrappy startup bank. This was old money, old prestige, the kind of institution that felt permanent, the sort of name that showed up on the Queen's own accounts. So when Barings needed someone to run its new derivatives operation in Singapore in the early 90s, Leeson looked like exactly the right choice. He came from a working-class background in Watford, started as a clerk, and worked his way up through sheer hustle and a talent for settling messy back-office trades that no one else wanted to touch. He was young, he was hungry, and he was good. Good enough that Barings sent him to Singapore to open and run their new futures trading desk on the Cymex exchange. Here's the decision that ultimately destroyed the bank. Barings gave Leeson control of both the trading desk and the back-office settlement operation, the function that's supposed to independently verify a trader's positions and catch mistakes. In virtually every well-run bank, those 2 roles are kept strictly separate, specifically so that no single person can both place a bet and then hide the results of that bet from everyone else. Barings collapsed that wall in Singapore. Leeson answered, on paper, to managers back in London, but in practice, thousands of miles away with almost no real oversight, he had exactly the kind of unchecked, godlike control over his own numbers that turns a small mistake into a historic one. And the mistake, when it came, was almost mundane. In the summer of 1992, a junior trader on Leeson's team fumbled an order and lost the desk around £20,000. It was a rounding error in banking terms. Instead of reporting it up the chain like he was supposed to, Leeson made a decision that would define the rest of his career. He hid it. He opened a special account, numbered 888888, 8 being considered a lucky number in Chinese numerology, and buried the loss where London would never see it. That first £20,000 loss should have been the end of the story. Instead, account 88888 became Leeson's private ledger for every mistake that followed, and then his engine for trying to trade his way back to zero before anyone noticed the hole existed. This is the pattern behind almost every rogue trader collapse you'll ever study. A small loss, concealed instead of confessed, followed by bigger and increasingly desperate bets, placed under mounting pressure to make the problem disappear before it's discovered. For nearly 2 years, incredibly, it worked. Leeson reported spectacular headline profits to London, profits that, by some later estimates, accounted for close to 10% of Barings' entire global income in 1993 alone. He was treated as a rising star, a golden boy of the derivatives world. He received massive bonuses. Nobody at headquarters had any idea that the same trader generating those celebrated profits on paper was quietly sitting on catastrophic, compounding losses in an account most of his own bosses in London didn't even know existed. By late 1994, Leeson had stopped hedging risk almost entirely. He was making enormous, one-directional bets on where the Japanese stock market was heading, using futures contracts tied to the Nikkei 225 index. He wasn't managing risk for clients anymore. He was speculating at a scale that dwarfed the bank's actual capital, essentially betting the entire institution on his own read of the Japanese market. Then, On January 17, 1995, the Kobe earthquake struck Japan, killing thousands and sending shockwaves through Japanese financial markets. The Nikkei index cratered, and Leeson's enormous, already hidden position went catastrophically, immediately wrong. Any rational response would have been to cut the losses and confess. Leeson did the opposite. He doubled down, convinced, the way almost every gambler chasing losses convinces himself, that the market would snap back the way it usually did, and that one more big bet would erase the whole for good. It didn't snap back. Within weeks, the losses hidden in account 88888 had ballooned past £800 million, more than the entire capital base of Barings Bank itself. Think about what that actually means. One rogue position, run by one trader in one back office, had grown larger than the whole institution behind it. Every employee's job, every client relationship, 233 years of history. All of it was now smaller than the hole one person had dug in less than 3 years. On February 23, 1995, Leeson left a note on his desk that read simply, "I'm sorry," and fled Singapore with his wife. He was eventually tracked down and arrested in Frankfurt, Germany, then extradited back to Singapore to face justice. 3 days after he vanished, Barings Bank, banker to the British monarchy, older than the United States itself, was declared insolvent. It was sold to the Dutch bank ING for the nominal price of £1. Leeson was sentenced to 6.5 years in a Singapore prison. He served roughly 4 of them, developing colon cancer while incarcerated before eventually being released. The final tally of the losses he'd hidden came to approximately $1.3 billion, more than double the bank's entire available capital, wiped out by one trader nobody was independently checking. But the human cost didn't stop with Leeson. Barings employed roughly 1,200 people worldwide when it collapsed. Many of them had nothing whatsoever to do with Singapore, the Nikkei, or account 8888. Junior staff, back office workers, people who'd built entire careers on the assumption that a 2-century-old institution was as close to permanent as a job could get. Almost overnight, that assumption evaporated, and the reputational shockwave rattled confidence in London's financial sector for years afterward. What makes the Barings collapse so important isn't just the size of the number. It's what the collapse exposed about how thin the line between a functioning institution and total ruin can actually be. A single person, given control over both the front and back end of a trading operation, with almost no independent verification, quietly brought down a bank that had outlasted Napoleon, 2 world wars, and the Great Depression. Every major regulatory reform that followed in the years after, mandatory separation of trading and settlement duties, independent risk management oversight, real-time position and exposure limits, exists directly because of what happened in that one Singapore office. It's a pattern you'll see again and again across this channel, in bank after bank, decade after decade. It's rarely a genius scheme that ends a company. It's usually one small, hidden mistake, one missing check, and one person handed far too much unsupervised control. Left to quietly grow, month after month, until it's too big to hide and too late to stop. If you want the tools and scripts I use to build videos like this one, get the scripts, tools, and everything else behind this channel at the link below.